In this video, we're going to be talking about everything we know so far about the upcoming Mafia 4 game. So in my last Mafia 4 video, we talked about insider or leaker Curacasis, how he kind of teased that a Mafia announcement of some sort would be coming back in April of this year. However, that never came to be. However, Curacasis then tweeted on June 10th of this year, just last month, "As for Mafia, I've noticed more general activity. I was too optimistic in April, but I believe there's a chance for an announcement later this year. If what I saw was for a new game, it looks like it's going to be a reboot of the series without the number 4 in the title." And for me, that kind of makes sense to do a little reboot of the Mafia series, just in terms of marketing. But Curacasis also followed this up with this tweet. However, this is just my interpretation, and it might have been groundwork for future marketing for the series, hence the use of the general name Mafia. Correction, reboot or prequel. So if what Curacasis saw was true, and there are other reports which we'll mention that kind of point to this game being a prequel set in Sicily, then I actually could see them ditching the number 4 as it will be going back in time and maybe calling it something along the lines of Mafia Sicily or Mafia 1920. But this is not official information, this is just from a somewhat reliable leaker, so take it with a grain of salt. Also in March 2023, we got this LinkedIn job post for a tools engineer, which we also talked about in my last Mafia 4 video. But what this basically confirmed is that Hangar 13 is looking for a brand new tools engineer who is used to working on Unreal Engine 5, as Mafia 4 and likely Mafia 5 will be developed on Unreal Engine 5. It also said that this tools engineer will be working on an unannounced multi-platform game that is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, which we think was of course Mafia 4, and it makes sense because Mafia generally is a multi-platform title. Back in 2022, there was also layoffs at Hangar 13 as Nick Baines took over Hayden Blackman's role as Hangar 13's head, according to GameRant.com's article. The article reads, "Shortly after Nick Baines took over Hayden Blackman's role as Hangar 13 Studios head and a number of layoffs took place, he claimed that he would work to get development on Mafia 5 approved by the series publishers 2K, while development on Mafia 4 was still taking place. The idea behind this was to allow his team to springboard into the next game's development rather than being left in limbo to just work on patches and DLC for of course Mafia 4. Perhaps the pre-production mentioned in the above job description is in fact referring to Mafia 5. With almost an 8-year wait since Mafia 3's release, it would make sense that a lot of work for Mafia 4 has already been done, so it would make sense logistically for them to immediately start working on Mafia 5 instead of being stuck in limbo as the article suggests." We also got an article back in May 2022 from Kotaku which talked about the cuts and layoffs from Hangar 13, which also confirmed that this alleged Mafia 4 game would be a prequel to the Mafia games thus far. The article reads, "As Kotaku reported earlier this month, the Brighton office is currently leading early production on a new Mafia prequel that will be built in Unreal Engine 5. The game's currently planned to take place in Italy, but Take-Two has also been treating Hangar 13 like an in-source studio, using it to assist with development as it assists with development on its other published games like Tiny Tina's Wonder Worlds, Kerbal Space Program 2 and Marvel's Midnight Suns. So it seems like all this time from 2016, even though Hangar 13 would have wanted to make a Mafia 4 game, which they also expected to be making, Take-Two kind of bounced them around to be working on different projects instead." The article continues, "As developers have finished their task on some of those projects, some have been shifted onto the Mafia prequel, others have joined Project Hammer, which was Topspin 2K25 now, which was also expected to launch before the new Mafia game, which did end up happening. Studio head Baines said during the meeting that the plan is for Hangar 13 to focus almost exclusively on both of those franchises moving forward." I also want to mention that the original article from Kotaku did say that the game was set in Italy. However, the Insider Gaming article is saying that the prequel is set in Sicily, which I personally think is the more likely option. We also got the Mafia 4 prequel story setting talked about by insider Nick Baker on an episode of the Xbox Era podcast, also back in May 2022, as reported by comicbook.com. The article reads, "It was reiterated that the next game in the Mafia series should indeed take place before all of the others. This report claims that Mafia 4 will be set in the late 19th or early 20th century and will center around Don Salieri. In the original Mafia, Salieri was one of the main crime bosses that players worked with their character Tommy Angelo, so clearly this prequel could flesh out how Salieri came to power and ended up establishing his own operation. Specifically, portions of the game may even be set within Sicily. Now that is something I would be extremely excited about, but the report actually goes on to say this. The other interesting thing that Baker had to say about Mafia 4 is that it could be more linear when compared to past installments. Considering that the Mafia series has always featured extensive open worlds, this would be a pretty big change for the franchise as a whole. That being said, one of the biggest complaints about Mafia 3 when it released is that the game's open world was too bloated. To see Hangar 13 listening to that criticism and instead streamlining the portions of Mafia 3 that people liked, mainly in regard to the story, could make sense for Mafia 4. Now personally, I think that there wasn't enough deep content in the open world for the Mafia games, and I really wanted the open world to be much more fleshed out. I really wanted more unique and dynamic interactions within the open world, and I was hoping to see something like that akin to the Red Dead Redemption series in the upcoming Mafia 4 game. However, if this leak is true, then it seems to be a much more linear experience, and maybe it will be something in terms of the Last of Us and Uncharted series where it's much more open areas for a singular mission than an open world itself. And I personally would still be extremely excited for this, because at the end of the day I just want a really good Mafia game. But we also got another report in April 2023 from Insider Gaming's Grant Taylor-Hill, which reads, Mafia 4 may feature stealth and multiplayer elements, which to me, I don't think multiplayer elements would actually end up making it to the game, but I feel like stealth is a real possibility. The article reads, in March, job listings that were dug up on LinkedIn suggest that Mafia 4 was in pre-production, being built out by the developer Hangar 13 on Unreal Engine 5. Now further listings have been posted on the professional platform, but this time they've mentioned engaging stealth gameplay and multiplayer features. This article actually leads us to this Reddit post, which has details about the LinkedIn job listings and reads, according to the following job listings posted on Hangar 13's LinkedIn page just hours ago, the next iteration of the Mafia franchise will feature engaging stealth and combat gameplay loops. The following is several excerpts from this said job listing in search for a principal designer AI and lead AI designer. They will drive the creation of AI systems, archetypes and behaviors from prototypes through to the release for the next iteration of the Mafia franchise. So of course it looks like the AI is going to be updated in the game, and especially with stealth features being introduced, they would definitely have to update the AI for that, and of course because they're moving to the Unreal Engine 5 for this game too. Furthermore, in the what you will do section of the job listing, work closely with the AI lead and relevant stakeholders to ensure delivery of engaging stealth and combat gameplay loop, hands-on design and development of our combat and non-combat NPCs. Design new archetypes that fit the vision of a Mafia game, all the way from creative and technical design prototypes to enemy behaviors and abilities, and ensure that players can understand AI intention and plan their combat accordingly. So it will feel like something new to the Mafia franchise, even though there has been stealth before, but it feels like this is going to be a lot more fresh and a lot more important to the gameplay loop. There was also a second job opening for the role of senior systems designer in Brighton, UK. Hangar 13's mother studio and Mafia 4's current development location calls for the following: experience with AAA titles, multiplayer games, and or live game design experience preferred. So it seems like Hangar 13 does have planned for some multiplayer aspects in one of their games, and remember that these guys are also working on the Topspin series, which also has multiplayer mode, so it's likely that that's for that game, but it could also be that they do have plans for a multiplayer mode for the next Mafia game. I personally don't think it will have multiplayer features, as in 2021, Take-Two actually cancelled an unannounced $53 million live service game by Hangar 13. Now this game was intended to be a live service third-person action game in the vein of Destiny, developed by Hangar 13 called Vault. And what the studio head of Hangar 13 said at the time was, Take-Two had determined that the cost of development amidst the current industry challenges would make it commercially unviable. We are confident that there are many opportunities for Hangar 13 employees to work on other games in development, both at H13 and across the label, he wrote. 2K has also assured me that the company believes in Hangar 13 can deliver a critical commercial success, and we will be beginning developing future projects soon. And just a year later he was replaced, and there were mass layoffs at the studio. So for this reason I think they won't be doing anything multiplayer with the Mafia series, as it would take a lot more development time to implement, and the cost of running these online servers gets expensive over time. But I hope that the leaker cases is right when he says that we are going to be getting a Mafia 4 announcement later this year. We've waited a long time for the next game, and I personally think it's very exciting that we're going to be going back to the 19th century or early 20th century, and for it also to be set in Sicily. We know that the game is definitely in development, and it will be coming out within the next year or so, I'd say. But let me know in the comment section below, when do you think we will be actually getting Mafia 4? Do you think it will be a reboot of the series? And even though it is a prequel, would they kind of reset the timeline and maybe even do a trilogy with Salieri? But it is likely at this point that Mafia 4 is near complete, but we don't know if Nick Baines actually got Mafia 5 approved for them to be immediately working on that once Mafia 4 release, or once a majority of the development has been done. Like the new head of Hangar 13 said, he doesn't want to be stuck in limbo or be working on DLC or patches once Mafia 4 is complete, and would rather start on the next Mafia game to get that process started and not have us wait another 8-9 years before the next game releases. So when do you think Mafia 4 will come out? When do you think we will be getting the trailer for Mafia 4 and the official announcement? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thank you so much for watching this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. We talk about a lot of open world games on this channel, and even talk about upcoming games like The Last of Us 3, the Assassin's Creed games, Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia, Ghost Recon, and so much more. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, God bless, and I hope to see you on my next videos. Take care, guys.
For my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces, hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, no, this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.